What's going on, everyone? So, something that I've talked about, and I've seen many others present the same idea of changing the starting unit, right? Something I've talked about is just better balance. Luka in particular likes to get going early. He likes to get going in the first quarter, kind of set the tone offensively. And so, with him wanting to be so aggressive and get like half of his field goal attempts in the first quarter, does make some sense to have kind of more balance and guys that are willing to kind of do the dirty work, that can rebound, knock down the open shot for the kick out, whatever, right? And I've talked about going like Luka, Jordan Goodwin, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Jackson Hayes, right? Because those two guys in particular, shooting the three ball very well recently. Those two guys also rebound the ball well, and they're very versatile defensive guys. They're scrappers, hustle play guys, do a little bit of everything, right? And if you're going to have Luka basically trying to go get 20 in the first and then, dish out another 5 assists. And then you got LeBron, who he can be aggressive and score the basketball. I think you have enough offense to start games while also maintaining the defense. Couple problems though. One, the Lakers are really good when Rui starts, right? Lakers are 10-4 since February 3rd. And also Austin Reaves has been so good. It is incredibly hard to justify putting Austin Reaves to the bench. But did a recent video talking about the stats with Rui Hachimura and the starting unit and stuff like that. Go check out that video after this video, of course, if you didn't check that video out. But one of the things that I talked about towards the end of the video that I was like, hey, you know what? That might make a really good video in and of itself is Lakers' biggest problem has not really been the first quarter, right? Lakers have been pretty good first quarters, or at least, within range. Right? They're not getting smacked early on like we saw in past years where it's like, oh, man, first and third quarters are killing us, right? Like, so the first quarter has been fine. The third quarter, on the other hand, has been atrocious, right? Lakers have just not been a very good third quarter, which is really strange. And it's not just this team, right? It's not just the current regime. I mean, this has been an issue for years now. And just coming out of halftime and just not, really locking in. And so the concern in question is obviously finishing quarters strong, because first, second, third, fourth, like Lakers have had an issue closing quarters, right? So you got to clean that up. You got to sew that up a little bit. But then also, just having the third quarter be a better start. Because that's really the problem, right? We've seen these games, even in the Memphis game, right? Memphis came out through the punch, regained the lead, and then Lakers kind of, went on a push towards the end of the quarter, and then they went on a final push. But I think instead of changing the starting unit, maybe you look to change the starters for the third quarter, right? And so usually, whoever starts in the first starts in the third. But, we've seen teams change guys in the third quarter for matchup purposes or whatever, right? It's not like there's some rule where it's like the guys who start in the first have to also start in the third, right? Like Lakers can make adjustments, can make changes. So the unit that I referenced, Luka, Jordan Goodwin, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Jackson Hayes, I do think that there is an argument to be made to have them start the third. So you go with your normal starters of Luka, Reaves, Rui, LeBron, and Hayes, right? Which I still maintain I do have concerns about those five, particularly come playoff time, right? You can get away with outscoring teams in the regular season. You can get away with kind of subpar defense in the regular season. Once you get to the playoffs, game's just a different game, different beast. It's almost like a different sport, right? Like, so I do have my concerns in that regard. I said the same stuff last year. We ran into Denver, and as soon as we hit that wall offensively, they ran through us every time and almost got swept again. All right. So I do still maintain those concerns. However, I do think first quarters, first halves, right? Lakers offense usually is cooking. Problem is the offense in the second half, and even just like the defensive intensity. Well, the two guys that you don't have to worry about intensity and playing defense is usually Jordan Goodwin and, Dorian Finney-Smith, right? You got Jackson Hayes and Gabe Vincent, guys like that too. But the reason I like those two guys in particular is because, like I've said, is both guys can shoot the three. Both guys are really good rebounders. Both guys can do the dirty work in the hustle plays, right? You could throw Jared Vanderbilt in there instead if you wanted to, like instead of Jordan Goodwin, maybe go Jared Vanderbilt. I just like the idea of the shooting, but you could go Jared Vanderbilt, Dorian Finney-Smith with Luka, LeBron, and Jackson Hayes. That works just as good. You wouldn't hear any complaints from me. But now to start the third quarters, you just have much better balance. You have the defense out there. You have the hustle and dirty work to now hopefully have a better start and impact earlier to the mid of the third quarter. And then you make your adjustments and changes accordingly, and you do what you need to do. I also think there's an argument to start Luka in the fourth, because the Lakers have like an atrocious fourth quarter when Luka is not in the starters. I mean, even in the Memphis game, they were a minus 100 in that game, right? Like in the fourth quarter. So I do think that those are two big changes that the Lakers should strongly consider. You know, better balanced starting five for the third, and then starting Luka in the fourth. Now, as far as like Reeves and everything like that goes, you just have him play more in the, so you just kind of scatter it. So they all start, the usual suspects start, right? And then you can do whatever you usually do in the first, but then scatter it so Austin Reeves is kind of playing a good chunk of the second quarter, the back end of the second quarter. Then he kind of gets rest in the first chunk of the third quarter, and then he comes in to finish the third and then start the fourth, with Luka, in my opinion, starting the fourth. So now you have Luka and Reeves, they have been very good together on the basketball court, and they kind of have figured some stuff out. So now you have those two. LeBron gets rest, and I just think now you just have a much better version of this team. And you know, the data and the stat points, everything kind of backs that up. Because again, like Lakers have not been good in the fourth quarters with Luka off the court. Luka and Reeves have been very good as a duo together, right? You still want to get LeBron rest. Third quarters have been an issue, right? All of these things can be solved with just some simple tweaks, right? To start the third quarter, you go with a more balanced unit. And then for the fourth quarter, you just start Austin Reeves and Luka. And now you're off to the races, right? And now I do think that that's enough to start fixing and correcting some of these things. You're still going to have moments here and there. You're still going to have bad quarters here and there, sure, right? But can you solve it more often than not? To where instead of 8 out of 10 games, the Lakers are terrible in the third quarter and, you know, struggling to start force and all this stuff. And a lot of that can be fixed, right? Do you just go and kind of make the change, do what's necessary? I mean, look, maybe JJ is considering it. Maybe it's something JJ has thought about. Maybe it's something JJ has planned. Maybe he's waiting until the postseason to do that, right? Maybe he's looking at it and going like, okay, like, you know, like I'm going to make that change. I'm going to get that done. You know, I do think something needs to be done, right? Because it's a regular occurrence. If it was just random here and there, right, then fine. But like I said, it's like, you know, 80% of the time, you can set your watch to the Lakers, you know, not finishing quarters strong, losing the third quarters horribly, and then fourth quarters having some struggles early on, and then kind of make that punch at the end of games and closing out, right? If you can flip that to where now, like, you know, 8 out of 10 times, they're getting really good third quarters, and they're getting really good, starts to force, because you got Reeves and Luka and their duo and their pairing and all that stuff. I just think it's such a, if at least try it, right? Like, what's wrong with just giving it a look and seeing, does that solve something? Are you playing Houston coming up, right? Like, why not do something like that, right? Like, start the game as you usually do, kind of go through your rotation as you usually do, give Reeves, you know, a little extra time in the second quarter, so knowing that he's going to rest in the third, right? He's not the sixth man. He's starting and he's finishing games, right? Like, all the in-between stuff, who cares, right? Like, as long as you're starting the game, you're a starter. And then as long as you're closing the game, then you're a closer, right? That's like the second and third quarter, like however you scatter that. And as long as he's getting his minutes, you know, his 35 minutes a game or whatever, I don't think he's going to care about that. I don't even think that you really have to have hey, we're gonna go with we want to try this different look because we really want you and Luka to start the fours. So we're gonna kind of switch it up in the third and just see if that kind of helps our third quarter. And then now you two can kind of really push for the fourth, and you're just gonna play more in the fourth quarter, right? We'll get you some right. You know, I like what he'll do is he'll start LeBron, and then he'll take LeBron out, you know, like 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in, and give him a couple minutes rest before closing the game. Just do that with Reeves and Luka, right? You know, like start Reeves and Luka, and then have LeBron come in, and then Reeves can go to the bench for, you know, 2-3 minutes of game time. And then Reeves can come in, Luka can go to the bench for 2 or 3 minutes of game time, and then he comes in, and then you finish the last, like, whatever, 4 minutes, 3-4 minutes with all three of them on the court and close it out, win the game strong. It's kind of how I thought about it. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? You feel? What are your thoughts? Do you love the idea? Do you hate the idea? You kind of mixed in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.